What's going on, family? Welcome to this week's edition of the P. Coffee Brown Show. I'm your hostess with the mostest, P. Coffee Brown. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? How was y'all's day?
Greetings and salutations.
Greetings and salutations, man. How was y'all's day? Was it productive? Was it annoying? Were you happy? Did anybody get on your nerves? I mean, what's been popping?
Well, I can tell you about my day.
Go ahead.
Well,
what had happened was now go.
One of our very popular cell phone companies decided that they didn't want to make my life very long today.
Now go.
I sat in there for the last 2.5 hours to get my phone, and it wasn't the most pleasant at all.
So you sat in a cellular device location for the past 2.5 hours, and you want to refrain from telling us who it was?
Well, I'm not going to slam them. That's just, I don't want to overstep boundaries or something, but it was T-Mobile.
I ain't gonna say nothing, but it was. You ain't heard it from me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna choose violence today because that made me hot.
Had it all slick on the bottom. It was T-Mobile.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
To slide it up in there, huh?
2.5 hours, man. And I'm trying to figure out, dude, it take that long to download information? And it's way faster than what it used to be.
So how much information did you have on your phone, Vincent?
That's the real question. Like, dude.
Well,
you see, Coffee, I had a 256 gig, hard drive, and
no. What it was, when you have those folders set up on your phone for your apps, that's what extended the timeline.
If you do have the folders,
yeah, if you have them organized like that, it takes longer to download.
Oh, okay.
So why don't you just be unorganized next time?
No.
Okay, all right.
Coffee, you wouldn't even take that advice from you. Wouldn't even do that.
I don't organize my phone. I don't organize. I don't even go through all that. That's how much stuff. How many?
No, but you know what? It makes it easier when you're trying to go to information.
Not for me. I just look at the collections. You got an Android or an iPhone?
No, I don't do iPhone. I'm Android.
That's what the challenge is. All right, let's go on to the next topic.
No.
What?
No.
What?
I'm sorry. I've had
to he said it. You said it with such
disdain, and I meant every word of it. Yes, man.
You said it like Apple did something to you at your house. Hey guys, like and share the segment on tonight. Even let me tell y'all a secret: the people that's on the show, I just checked their pages. They haven't shared either, so they got to go share too. But anyway, back to what I was saying.
And you talking about me.
I'm talking about you.
Just throwing some buzz.
Hold on, I'm about to start talking a whole bunch. I'm about to get on the book of faces, and I'm about to just start running my mouth
today. Okay, for real.
The book of faces.
But yeah, no, seriously, y'all, for real. Share, like, share, follow us, connect with us for sure. But seriously though, Vincent, I mean, why you got an attitude with Apple like that? Like what they did
to you? I'm a true tech guy, and I'm sorry. Apple products, the only solid 100% Apple product is that MacBook. That MacBook, hands down, one of the best inventions ever made. For audio, sound, visual, all that. But that phone, no.
So do you have you ever used the phone?
I've had one before. That's why I don't fool with them. No, I'm good.
All right. You know, right now you sound like somebody's great uncle.
Man. Hey, okay.
Sound like an old battered wife.
Hey, I've minus today when I went
told Harpo to beat me.
No, y'all laughing, man. I'm serious about that, man. That phone, Android has never led me wrong. It does everything I needed to do. Honestly, what do you need an Apple phone for? If you're not doing something in audio visual, pretty much. What do you need it for?
You know what? Let's go to the topic for tonight because he took this way too far.
I agree with you.
I'm sorry. Seriously, I mean, I'm being for real. What do you need the iPhone for if you're not doing anything in music, and entertainment. Koffe, if you had a MacBook, boom, and a phone, because we're doing a podcast, hey, great. But outside, if you didn't have a podcast, what would you need a MacBook or an iPhone for?
What is wrong with your home?
Because I like using it, fool.
This ain't the hot. This is not the hot seat, so we ain't gonna get into.
Hey, man. Hey,
for all those that said he missed it, it's gonna show up tonight if Vincent keep talking.
I'm choosing.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I will go switch to marketing and come right back. Like for real, turn to the hot seat.
Hey. I'm serious. But you know what though? I'm saying that for this purpose.
You got about
iPhone just recently, after all these years, just changed the power ports on the phones. How much was a charger for an iPhone before they changed it to a C port? What, almost
we can afford them, Vincent. We didn't look at the price.
$70 for a charger? Okay, Jason, a computer charger is cheaper than an iPhone charger.
All right, listen. Let's get off. Apple.
Vincent needs a hug. Go back to T-Mobile.
Yeah, Vincent either need to go to the gym or he need to be held.
I'm good.
Gym or be held.
I'm not the only one that feels that way. And if you feel that way, subscribers, everybody out there, viewers, put something in the chat about it. Why would you need an iPhone if you do nothing in entertainment? I'm
gonna send you a whole dissertation on that later. Nonetheless, good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the P. Koffe Brown Show. And as you can see, Vincent is feeling some type of way about a Apple phone that he does not own. And after being in T-Mobile for nearly 3 hours
with his Android
situation.
Well, actually, I will not allow y'all to disrespect my new baby. She's beautiful. She's gorgeous.
I like it, Vincent. Yes. I like it.
S25 Ultra. Baby. She's gorgeous. Yes.
I like it.
He is in a real relationship with his phone family.
Right. You're hearing this too, right?
Let's get to the topic of tonight, because I mean we can stay on Vincent's side of the fence the whole night, but we ain't gonna do it. We're not gonna sit up here.
Boy, need a hug.
Yeah, he need a whole hug. I mean, he really feels some type of way on tonight.
Yep.
But before we do that and we get started on our topic tonight, let's go to a quick commercial break. Yes, well, that is my new best-selling project from the P. Koffe Brown herself. And I'm super excited about it because it is my memoir. So it tells you a story of my journey and how I went from devastation to deliverance. And we'll talk about that on another episode. Since we talked about Androids and Apple for 7 minutes, we got to keep it moving on the show tonight. So listen, the recap from last week was amazing. We actually dove into our amazing thought leaders that are a part of our community. They shared with you some projects that they've done and some upcoming things that they'll be doing. We're looking forward to hearing what they're going to present to us for Black Friday. I want to see what they're going to have popping for Black Friday and how we can have something amazing under the tree for Christmas this year. All right. Something that will empower, impact, and transform us. All right. So tonight's focus is going to be on economic empowerment. We're not just rebuilding, we're actually realigning. We're realigning and we're building wealth from within. We're starting from internal to manifest externally. What does that mean to you and I? And of course, our amazing panel is going to chime in on this. What does it mean to you and I to create wealth from the inside out? Well, the first aspect of us being wealthy would have to do with our actual health. It is a major concern in America right now. I've done a few studies on this. A lot of studies are showing that Americans are in an extreme state of depression, and obesity is consistently on the rise, and it's on the rise for Generation X. Not necessarily people in our age group, but younger people are becoming more and more obese. Why? Because they're consuming things that have not been prepared at home. They're doing a lot of consumption from outside sources, different places. And of course, now we are finding more and more that the food consumption is not the best as far as what they're utilizing to create these particular foods that our young people are consuming now. It's not the same thing. I was telling somebody the other day, when I used to work as a manager at McDonald's a long time ago in the Stone Ages, we used to cook the food. And I remember having drive-through lines that were just crazy, especially when we used to have the 39-cent cheeseburger and the 29-cent hamburger back in the day. And the line would be wrapped around the building, and people would literally have to come, give us their order, and then just go sit in the parking lot, and we go hunt them down to give them 85,000 cheeseburgers or 85,000 hamburgers that we had to actually cook. Okay. It was not a queuing oven. It was none of those things where it was prepared 22 hours before and we just throw everything. No, we had to cook. And God forbid somebody burn the buns. Every now and then we had a dummy on the toaster that would burn the buns, and then that would just make it even more, because it's like, now you burn the buns, now the people are already wrapped around the building, now we got to wait to and then the challenge with that was we could not leave the meat just sitting there. So once we cooked it, it had to go. I mean, it was just it was a grill, so we couldn't just like sit it to the side and wait for the buns. We'd have to literally toss that out and start over again. Now everything is, if you ever go in McDonald's and you look at them prepare your food, you will see that stuff was cooked God knows when or how. Or how. The only like fast food restaurant to my knowledge in the traditional sense is Wendy's. They still prepare their food the day of, because their stuff still comes in fresh every 48 to 72 hours. So they don't even hold on to their beef or anything like that. So they do still have to cook their food. So that's about the only one that still does the traditional cooking. But I said that to say that the way that things are prepared in such a quick time frame and trying to get people in and out. I mean, literally, you can literally go to a restaurant, a fast food restaurant, place your order, get to the window, it's already ready. How's that possible? It's possible. It's like, it freaks me out when I hear people saying, you know, I just went over there to get something to eat. And like, you already got it. You got it already. You back. And it just kind of, I'm like, how did it, you know? And I think to myself, just how much poison we're putting into our bodies. And we have to keep in mind, if we're going to have long-term standing wealth, which means that we're talking about mind, soul, spirit wealth, if we're going to have that wealth and we're going to be able to reproduce, not necessarily procreate, but reproduce ourselves, reproduce whatever kind of product or service we decide we're going to be involved in, all of the things, we're going to have to be healthy. And right now in our nation, we are going through a real serious crisis as it pertains to internal wealth, not external. I'm not talking about stuff and things. I'm talking about our actual health and our mental health and all of those things. So you go to the gym, you lift weights. You know, I'm in the gym every day, 4 o'clock in the morning. We go in, we lift weights, and we're in there getting it in every day, 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, picture what's happening with somebody's mind. Where do you go to go do mental workouts every day? What do you do? Make sure you're literally working out every single day. It's called meditation. It's called sitting still. It's called quiet time. It's called, having some type of instrumental music that you ascribe to, just to be able to just unplug from everything that's going on, or go to a park, go somewhere where it's nature, where you can walk and just kind of unwind and just think for yourself, and don't use a device or anything like that to help you to think. You're just using your own mind, your own energy, your own creativity, and just letting yourself flow as you do those exercises. So that is like just like the physical exercise, you need to do mental exercise, and you need to do it every single day. Every day that we're awake, every day that we're alive, same way we take a shower, we put our clothes on, whatever your morning routine is, you do it every single day. I don't know anybody that's going to leave the house without brushing their teeth or washing their face, and hopefully they wash all of their other assets. Okay, all the assets. Okay, hopefully they wash all their assets before they leave their home. It's the hope. Okay, I don't want to make any assumptions on the show, but I'm just saying this, and I'll say it one more time. Hopefully they're cleaning all their assets before they leave their house every day. But nonetheless, and we do have fragrances around. That's what lets us know that some people have not taken advantage of those products and services. But nonetheless,
Help us, Lord.
Smell is spicy.
Nonetheless, all right, we are talking about the internal wealth. I mean, I want to hear from y'all. Y'all laughing, but I'm very serious. I've been, lately I've experienced some fragrances that have nothing to do with designers at all.
Fragrances, right? Oh,
yeah, it's been some fragrances I've been experiencing here lately. And
non-designer in origin.
It's
right?
not designer inspired.
Wow.
Not designer inspired. So
It's very rude.
Called Le Funk.
Oh wow.
I just saw that shit.
I like that.
Oh, okay.
Le Crack.
I mean,
Yeah,
so
very-
funkified, you know what I mean?
Very musk, right? Very woodsy. Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, very, very earthy.
Yeah. Okay.
Very earthy essence.
Oh wow.
Yeah, earthy fragrances.
Man, sorry you had to go through that.
At 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. So I know it was.
But no, it wasn't at the gym. That's the
that's a
sad
good
part.
thing. Okay.
It wasn't the fragrances.
bad.
The 4 a.m. crew. Let me say this before we get any further with this. The 4 a.m. crew, they kind of shower. So there's some great vibes up in there. It's not the 6 p.m. crew. It's the
If
4
you
a.m.
smell like that,
so
that early in the morning,
even in the steam room, they don't be tarred up in there. But we just, I'm just talking about internal empowerment. I'm talking about the economic empowerment from the internal stance. I want to hear from you guys about that. Seriously.
Well, I'll definitely talk about the health side of it because I'm about 35 down and 35 pounds being, so watching my diet, getting healthier, getting your levels back in. Oh, I appreciate it, man. Getting your levels back in check. I just went to the doctor. My cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, is still slightly elevated. But then again, I haven't taken cholesterol medicine in a year. So no more high elevation, A1C and everything doing good. And what I've been preaching to people is like, man, I just feel much better. I feel lighter. I feel better. I employ everybody to get up and go walk, go to the park, go walk, especially since the weather's been nicer. I don't care. I wouldn't care if it was 100 degrees outside, me personally, because I don't mind sweating. But go out, get your sweat on, walk. You was talking about freeing your mind too. And to me, that's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone, if that makes sense, right? So I'm walking around the park. I got a little music in my ear. I'm paying attention to what's going on around me. I'm feeling the breeze, hear the birds. Sometimes you see a deer, and squirrels and stuff, and you're just meditating and thinking while you're walking. So I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You know what I mean? So, I employ everybody, man, let's get healthier. Let's watch what we're putting in our system a lot more. I'm definitely a fast food junkie. Over the years, I've had to start slowing down and backing up from that kind of stuff. Because, a lot of stuff ain't even real food anymore. You're just eating glorified plastics stuff. You know what I mean? Seriously.
Man, when I seen them,
why do you think them burgers last so long? They don't even corrode after like a month.
Did y'all see the cabbage that they made from plastic?
And rice, yep.
And eggs.
Yep.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
That's real sick.
Yes, ma'am.
That is very, very, very sick.
Wow.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
And you wonder why certain aspects of your health, like why my levels so off. Look at what you're eating.
Yeah. Yeah. And too, you have to look at the brand that you're eating from and what they and their manufacturing techniques and all that. You can do a deep dive and find out about the actual companies that you patronize. It's important that you do that anyway, because you need to know what their belief systems are and all those things. Because a lot of those companies, you know, like, I mean, if their belief system has nothing to do with humanoids, then you might not want to patronize them.
Yeah,
you're right.
You know,
that's a good point.
If their mission and vision statement says nothing about people, why are you patronizing them at all? That's
message.
That's questionable, you know, as far as what they think and feel. So there's a scripture, interesting scripture. We're gonna slide into the next part of the discussion, because we got sidetracked with Android and Apple products with Vincent.
I'm trying to
let it go.
See, Koffe keep bringing it up.
Let it go.
Let
it go.
It's another love TKO. Let it go. So the scripture that we kind of tapped into the discussion is Deuteronomy 8:18, which talks about God gives you the power to create wealth. It's in the Message Bible. That's the translation. And what that means is simply, when it says power to, it means the capacity and ability to do something when it talks about power. And so let's talk about that. Let's talk about economic empowerment and what that means from a mindset, management, and multiplication. We already talked about mindset. Let's talk about the management aspect. Dr. Shamika, she and I were conversing on yesterday. We were kind of conversing about the management aspect of economic empowerment. It really had nothing to do with the show, but we were actually talking about the management on yesterday. And we were talking about processes, procedures, and systems, having them in place in order to have your organization running as a well-oiled machine. So talk to us about that, Dr. Shamika. Well, Dr. Not Shamika, doctor on the show. So,
AKA,
don't call me Doc now we own the show. Call me Doc.
Doctor, not doctor.
Doctor, not doctor.
Period.
Oh my gosh, y'all. Oh my goodness. So yes, we did have this, conversation, because as we're transitioning, as we're progressing into the new year, we need to, get ourselves together, get ourselves aligned for where we want to go. And so we all are business owners here. And what we don't want to do is continue to always have to put hard work into our businesses. We should get to a point where we have put processes, policies, we have made systems work for us. So we need to put those things in place so that they continue to work for us and we can go on and do something else. That's how we get the multiplication. So when we're just continually trying to do everything on our own, that's how we get stuck in not building what we're supposed to be doing. Our purpose is to go and multiply, help other people grow, but we're not able to do that if we're solely focused on running every aspect of our businesses by ourselves. So that's why it's important to have systems in place, so that we can do other things. That's how we multiply. We can't stay in one area and figure we'll multiply that way. It doesn't work that way.
Exactly. Like, that's funny you said that, because today I was writing an intense list of thought leaders, because it's time for the expansion and the growth, and to relinquish my right to be in control. And I'm like, let's get it popping. Let's get some, some people in the building to support the new scaling and growing and the expansion of the brand. So you can't do it all by yourself, and you shouldn't want to. I know that a lot of us struggle with that, especially if you're the first individual inside of your family to ever do something significant as far as shifting into the entrepreneurialism space. And it can be a very scary experience. Nonetheless, it's like anything else. You have to understand that you have to have a team. It has to be a team. One person can never, ever create a dynasty. And it's honestly, it goes against the principle of humanity. There's never been a time where anything was ever created from a huge dynamic and a huge perspective where there was not a lot of people involved. And when I say a lot, I don't mean necessarily a whole bunch, because Gideon took 300 and down from 30,000, and then Christ only had 12. And then it just went crazy from there to where there was countless of individuals that would go into clusters to be able to create this environment and continue to share the great news of the gospel, which we still share to this day. I'm not gonna get into, I'm not gonna get churchy on y'all. This is not my church. So nonetheless, just as an example, or any thought leader, the Rockefellers, anybody that ever made a massive impact in society, they had a whole group that they had in place in order for them to be able to execute with the masses. J. Paul Getty, Napoleon Hill, just everybody, Henry Ford, anybody that made a massive impact in any industry, they had to have a lot of people. Even Chanel, I did a deep dive into Chanel the other day, and not even realizing what happened with the whole story of Chanel and how the brand even came to be. It was interesting how she cloned herself by providing this attire, it was really risque in her day because it was more masculine than it was feminine. So she took a lot of men's clothing, and that's how she developed her line to make it more comfortable for women to wear. And then she would duplicate herself by having all of her friends to wear her style of attire. Think about it. That's an army. Like, you got all these people wearing your attire, and they're going wherever they are going, and they're representing your brand. She would have never become a household name had she not done that, to make that brand do what it's even doing right now in her not even being present in the earth anymore. It's pretty phenomenal when you think about it. And this is a replication. Like right now, Vincent has on Nike. He is on a Nike shirt, and the swoosh anywhere you go. So think about how that brand is being duplicated all the time. Vehicles, anything you can think about where there's had some kind of mass production, it was impacted by a lot of people doing it, or a lot of people participating. Even Jason and I were going back over the situation with Target a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about how when the all-out mass requests to stop patronizing Target happened, look what happened when everybody came together. It was a ripple effect. Everybody everywhere was like, we're not going. And then Target, their stocks went in the toilet. And honestly, it's a great time to buy Target stock. I'm just saying, it is a great time to buy Target stock. Anywho, so I'm gonna yield over to Jason, and while we're talking about economic empowerment, Jason, it's important that people really understand the timing in which we're in, and the apprehension of AI is going to be to some people's detriment, because they're so afraid of the technology that they're not participating with. The not participating, it's going to cause them to have to struggle. We've seen this several times in history. When Bitcoin, going back over the situation, everybody was like, go get some Bitcoin. People are like, no, I'm not going to get no Bitcoin. I don't know what that is. What is that? And now here it is. Even with Bitcoin being down like it is, it's still a phenomenal asset to have. Or when we told people, say, oh, go get some stock in Starbucks. Oh, I ain't going to get no stock in no Starbucks. What's a Starbucks? So talk about that, Jason, how the apprehension to change causes a long-term deficit for a lot of people that could transcend generations.
Well, let's just start here. How many cities do you see Toys R Us in?
Nam.
How many cities do you see Circuit City in?
Nam.
Or Incredible Universe, or any of these other stores these days? You really don't see them that much anymore.
Right.
And a lot of these stores were very late to the game when you started having logistics companies like Amazon show up. Right? Amazon, when it first showed up, was truly just for people to use for logistics, and it became its own logistics company. And what I mean by that is now they carry so many other people's products, I'm not too sure they're not producing them. You know what I mean? Because every time you turn around, there's big warehouses going everywhere.
And actually, Amazon started off with the intent of shipping books.
Correct. Absolutely, 100%. And they were helping authors,
Right.
authors. Man, I know I'm sounding like I'm adding R's and stuff. Authors be able to get their books out to the public, especially independent authors.
Right.
But I'm not a big AI person. I mean, I am very open about that. But then again, I'm not ignorant to the fact that it's here. Does that make sense? So in saying that, either you get left or you get right. And what I mean by that is basically if you don't get right, then what's going to end up happening is the other one. You're going to get left behind. You know what I mean? So we have to embrace it. You don't have to love it. You know, I'm not the world's biggest fan of a lot of these electric cars, but they're here. So, you know, as technology changes, you got to roll with the punches. And whether you actually like that technology or not, it helps, you know, especially economically, whether you like it or not. If you see the growth in it, invest in it if you have the funds. Does that make sense?
Right.
I think there was a tip that was just given out about somebody's stock that's a little down right now, but we already know it's going to, you know, eventually grow. You know, we was talking about like Bitcoin being a little bit down right now, and it's like, well, if you got a couple dollars, message, you know what I'm saying? Get in the game, you know, because there's going to be a game played whether you're in it or not. You know, so basically, whether you like the technology, whether you like the way certain things are going, take a step back for a second and just look at it. If you see that it's going to grow with or without you, get in the game.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Invest.
Period. And I was telling somebody earlier, they were talking about whatever organization they represent, and they were just talking about all the things that was happening. And I said, you ever considered trading? And they were like, oh, you know what? I don't want to. I said, okay, first of all, let's stop right now. If somebody comes to you with a solution and you've given the problem and you've asked for advice, okay? Don't ask for advice if you really don't want advice.
If you don't want it.
Don't even worry about asking for it. Because if you're stuck in the whole thought of you just gonna be upset about where you are, what you're doing, how it's happening, why they're not doing this and why they're not doing that, you have no desire to make an adjustment, but you ask for some help. Listen, I'm not the person that's gonna just you can miss me with that. So I told the person just straight up, you can miss me with that. I said, because right now it's either you going to make a different decision, kind of like what Jason just said, either you're gonna get right or you're gonna get left right, whichever one you want to do. But don't come and ask for right. Don't come and ask for somebody to help you, and then you shoot down the resolve. And I said, there's so many different ways for you to empower yourself economically and just make your own ecosystem. You can make your own ecosystem if you choose to. Now you're gonna have to do some work to make it happen. But once you have those systems in place and you got a well-oiled machine, all you got to do is plug and play, 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 and make whatever adjustments after you have built whatever you need to build. But you got to build it. You got to build it.
You know what, Koffe? You just brought about a real important concept. If you want to have economic empowerment, first off, you need to empower a different mindset. And see, that is where I think the issue comes into place. You want this, just like you said, the young lady, a young man, or whoever came to ask you for information, and when you gave it to them, they didn't want to receive it. That's because they've already have a mindset or a limit. They have a limiter on where their mind is. And then once that limiter is put in place, it doesn't matter what you tell them, they're going to take it and receive it as negative. But if you want more, you have to change more. You have to be uncomfortable sometimes. And I think a lot of times people basically like to hear their self-talk sometimes. And they don't really want to take it in. Like, if you really want change, you need to get ready to be uncomfortable. Koffe, when you go to the gym every day, is it easy?
Of course it ain't easy.
Okay, but guess what? You definitely love those changes when you go get that outfit you like. When you put on that outfit,
all I gotta do is go in the mirror and be like, "Girl, holla at me, honey, holla at the girl."
But guess what? You got that little step, and it's funny you said that. I was just talking to some little people today about that same thing. In order for you to have a long-term goal, you need to set some short-term goals.
Right.
That you can hit.
Yeah,
Correct.
to build up
just
your
a little bit of
confidence.
struggle.
Build
Correct.
up your confidence, man. You know,
Right.
okay, I did that. You know, I'm a little sore, but
Yeah.
guess what? You're gonna go that much more harder once you get back in there, right?
Correct. And then, you know, and two, what happens is when you start going out and you do what you got to do, you start creating a new village.
Yep.
Then once you start creating that village, then people are going to start looking for you out in the field of life. Like if I'm not there and I don't come to the gym, whenever I come, oh my God, we missed you yesterday. And I was like, what? Y'all did? Yeah, we missed you. We missed seeing you yesterday. We was all in here getting it in. Did you work out yesterday? Then you have an accountability aspect of people wanting to make sure that you win. They want you to win with them. You know, like my crew is a whole crew of us. They were away for like 3 days for out of town. And all the guys were like, where your posse at? Why you in here working out by yourself? I said, oh, they out of town. They out of town. They was like, yes, and where? You in here? And where's the whole, because it's a whole group of us, literally. And they were like, where your posse at? And you're right. Once you start manifesting, then the expectation is for you to continue to do so. If you fall off the wagon, people are gonna be looking for you like, why you ain't producing no fruit? Because they're gonna be expecting for you to keep doing what you've done. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the link between what we believe, our fiscal accountability, and fulfilling that. You know, it doesn't matter what system of spirituality you subscribe to. It matters that you are subscribing and that you have something greater than you to lean into as you become whoever you believe you're supposed to be becoming. And then next, fiscal responsibility, in that you have to be responsible for what it is that you do with your resources. You know, that you don't have 50,000 creditors trying to hunt you down because you don't take care of your responsibilities. Every time you turn around, you parking your car in the garage because you haven't made a payment in 120 days, and you never reached out to them to be responsible and say, hey, I was impacted by the government shutdown. I need some support to be able to maintain, my household. There's been several people who have not been able to maintain whatever it is that they own because of the government shutdown, but they've not contacted anybody to talk with them about it because they had all these systems in place. Listen, creditors were sending out emails. I don't care what kind of credit you had extended to you, whether it was your light bill, your phone bill, it didn't even matter. They were sending out notifications. Hey, if you've been impacted by the government shutdown, reach out. Let us know what's going on. We can help. We can defer your payment. We can do this. We can do that. Yada, yada, yada. And some people, for whatever reason, they weren't being fiscally responsible. Now, that's going to come back to haunt them later on. It's gonna pose problems for them when it comes to trying to even gain their footing. Because like right now, it's too late to even contact them and tell them. Because they're going to be like, what you mean? It's over with now. And so we want to be able to understand our spirituality, how it ties into our being fiscally accountable. And then lastly, how are we going to fulfill the things that we want to fulfill without finding ourselves working for the next 99,000 years? No one wants to work for the next 99,000 years. You want to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor, and you want to be able to have the things that you want to have, tangible assets that you want to enjoy, whatever that means to you. If you want to have a nice home and be able to maintain it, what are you doing outside of your traditional work environment that's going to put you in position to be able to do that? So the Wall Street Trapper is somebody that I really like watching. I don't know if anybody follows him. I don't know if Jason, Shamika, Vincent, if you guys follow Wall Street Trapper, but one thing that he talks about is making sure that you understand how to utilize your paycheck and to take little breadcrumbs from your paycheck and start purchasing stock. Get you a nice stock portfolio. And even if you have a 401k or what's the other one that I had, a 403b or whatever you have in place, put some more money into it. if you say, you know what, I think I can afford an additional $50 every time I get compensated. Let me just stretch this to the limit and go ahead and add some more revenue to this so I can continue to grow my financial portfolio. But you can do that passively. You don't have to do it actively to where you're generating some more revenue. Jason, I saw you were getting ready to say something.
Oh, no. I mean, what you just said was very, very, very important. And understand, if you are not familiar with stocks, or you're scared to get into stocks, get into Bitcoin or one of the cryptos, like she was saying, $50 a paycheck or maybe $50 a month. I tell you what, let's make it even more simple. If you're really, 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 really scared to invest in yourself, go start another bank account and just move $50 every couple weeks into that other bank account and watch what happens. It won't compound as fast as like some of the stocks or the Bitcoins or whatever. Definitely not as volatile. But if you just keep doing that, watch what happens. I do on certain accounts, I do $50 a paycheck. On other accounts, I do a couple $100 a paycheck that I'll put into a separate account. Well, if my credit card bills ever get out of whack, in every 8 months or whatever, I might reach in there, pull a few $100 out, bam, get everything back in line.
Yeah. And you can find interest-bearing accounts online.
Correct.
So where there's several reputable banks that you can do online, to where it makes it harder for you to be able to withdraw. So you want to make it inconvenient for yourself to be able to withdraw the funds. You don't want to make it to where you're easily able to access it. Like I have one of my crypto accounts, it's in a vault. So if it's in the vault, that means that I gotta get the approval to get the money out of the vault, and then I gotta wait another 3 days before it even gets to my bank account. So by the time I go through all that, I'm like, you know what? Nah, don't worry about it. I don't want to go through all that. I want the money right now. So I did that intentionally, to have one of my crypto accounts to have that vault, and it also protects your asset as well. If you have a vault for your crypto as well, to have that vault is very, very important. And you can find out more about that. You can actually do your research on that to find out about crypto and the vault and all those other kind of things. And if you want some information about it, you can also always DM me, and I can send you some information on it if you are interested in knowing more about the crypto presence. But I want to talk about the management of our resources. I think Vincent kind of tapped into stepping out of scarcity with your mentality, even in scarcity conversations and communication. Interestingly enough, I've been on a talking fast, and it was so funny when I first heard about it. I was like, a talking fast, but it makes sense. And ever since we've been full throttle in this talking fast, I've discovered that I wasn't listening as much as I need to be listening. And the less that I'm on the phone, even though I wasn't doing a whole lot of idle chatting, the less that I'm on the phone, the more I'm occupying my time with continuous improvement, professional development, and all those things, where I would have been having a 45-minute conversation. I'm now taking those 45 minutes to listen to an audiobook, to, do something to increase my faith journey, or to expand my horizons with AI. Matter of fact, since I've been doing the fast, I literally have taken a whole entire AI course just off of, and I was like, wow, and it's not that I was talking a lot. It's just how you pay attention to things more when you start to eliminate something intentionally. When you eliminate something intentionally, you see something else become bigger. Whatever that is, it becomes bigger. So Shamika, let's talk about this money management, the budgeting, the credit strategy, and the stewardship. Now, interestingly enough, I'll say this and I'll yield to you. I had to attach my business to Knob, because we're doing trade lines and all that stuff. So I had to attach my business to Knob, and then with Knob, you have to attach your actual business bank account. And what it does, which is really amazing, is it literally does a deep dive about your habits and the actual where your company is fiscally, and the ability to be credit worthy. And it does it in a matter of seconds. Like talk about AI, and it just tells you, says, hey, you're only credit worthy for this or that, and you need to make adjustment here, there, and everywhere. So let's talk about that. How really important is budgeting and being aware, even if you can't do anything about some credit mistakes right now in this very moment, but being aware of what's going on in your credit.
I mean, if you're not paying attention to your budget, if you're not paying attention to your credit, as we can see, we are in uncertain times, so we need to be paying attention to these things. And I'm really big on budgeting. I'm really big on watching my credit like a hawk, because I'm just like, okay, I know I have a plan to do something different, and those things are important. Budgeting, you can't build a business if you're just lackadaisical with your finances. So you need to learn how to budget. You need to learn how to be able to maneuver, money different places. You need to know where your credit is, because that's very important when you're building business as well, so that you're not using all of your money into your business. You're able to leverage different areas. So those things are very, very vital. You have to be intentional in those areas if you're going to ever, like we speak of, multiply. If you're going to ever, go out here and really become laser focused in your purpose. You can't build anything if you're not intentional on paying attention to the very things that's going to excel you and push you forward. So we need to be, when I say laser focused in a budget, I have journals everywhere, budgeting journals everywhere, room here in my office, in my car, in my backpack for work. Like, we have to stay on those things, because again, what are you doing if you're just being lackadaisical? What are you doing? Why are you even speaking, hey, I want to do this and I want to do that, but you're not being intentional about what you're going to do when it comes to your finances and how you utilize your credit. So we got to stay on top of it. We have to stay on top of it. And those are some things when you talk about, I was on a fasting talk. I always speak of how not just talking fast, watching TV, all these things we spend so much, time watching that's not giving anything back to us, is actually taking our time away. We need to make sure that we're giving ourselves the time that's going to actually build us, build our community around us, being intentional with those we come into agreement with. We are not talking to the people that want the same things that we want. You have to build a community that is actually going in the same direction. If I'm talking about credit, if I'm talking about budget, if I'm talking about business, you're going to start peeking, looking into that like, man, I may need to pay attention to that. But if someone else doesn't have that same mindset, that's going to clash. You're not going to be able to grow. So we need to pay attention to those things as well.
Absolutely, because the people that you are surrounded by, you're not going in the same direction. Somebody poking a hole in the boat, everybody gonna drown. It puts everybody at risk, not just you, but it puts everybody in that whole community at risk. When we talk about ownership, investment, and legacy, Jason kind of talked about it a little bit about the just taking the initiative to putting a little bit aside. Now, I will say this, and I'll yield over to Vincent. When you become a little bit older, you got to do more. You're gonna have to make a sacrifice, especially if you started late. If you started late, just get ready to make a sacrifice. You can catch up. You really can. You can take a decade and literally catch up, but you would literally have to be seriously assertive in your approach and make that commitment to you, not to nobody else. The commitment is to you. It's not to anybody else. Make that commitment to yourself to say, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to do this. I'm going to do it over the next decade. I'm not going to let anything prohibit me from doing this. Interestingly enough, my former mother-in-law, was interesting. She was here when her son passed away, and my brother-in-law, she said something interesting. She said that when she was 49, she went to the doctor, and she discovered that there were going to be some things in her future that she did not want to have to deal with. So she literally said she got a notebook and she wrote down specific things that she needed to do over the next 36 months. And she said she made a full commitment to say, by the time I'm 52 years old, this is where I'm going to be at. And she just plugged away, and she just ate that elephant little by little by little, she said. And gradually, when she looked up and she was 52, like Dr. Shamika talked about the journaling, she had books everywhere of her journaling through that process, those 3 years that she took to get where she needed to be. And now here she is in her 80s and in optimum crazy health. Like from a 3-year decision, she's 80 some years young now and in absolute optimum health. Like it's really crazy. She still works out every single day. It's bananas. 80 something years young and in such great health. So it's, you know, you're right. You got to prepare yourself for what's going to happen for tomorrow. Vincent, when it comes to actually talking to your students about the future, what's been the greatest impact when it comes to talking to them about fiscal responsibility? What's been the greatest impact that you think you've had on them when it comes to helping them to understand that they've got to prepare for what's coming?
It's funny you said that, because with my older students, this is how I open up the classroom every day. We have lessons that deal with empowerment, just being a better citizen. They call SELs, social emotional learning. And the one that we're working on is broke down is life, setting short-term, long-term goals. This was actually just today. And one of the things that we talked about is the importance of it is that you never know what tomorrow brings. And in order to get to a goal, first you need to set a short-term goal to get to where you want to be. You have to set baby steps. You have to put things in place to keep you going in that direction. Also, you have to surround yourself with accountability partners, people who are like mindset, where they will keep you on track, because there are going to be times where you'll be distracted. And I think a lot of times that's what happens with adults, even with personal goals, health goals, financial goals. It's easy to say what you want to do, but what are you putting in place to keep you accountable for that? Because everybody does not have a strong mindset or spirit to keep that by themselves. They're like some people, like you said, with saving money or putting things together. Y'all talked about a concept. I'm going to strip it down to its simplest form. How many of our parents told you, when you start making some real money, pay yourself? That's all it is. It's just in a different form. So, and this is how I teach the students. What is more valuable, money or knowledge? I'll take knowledge any day. As y'all can see what's behind me, it's a reason why I had that backdrop back there. Literally. And a lot of us have all these bright ideas, but what are you doing to better inform yourself on these things? Like you said, you take more time, Koffe, like you said, with personal development. Like that concept you was talking about, and I was just sitting there listening because I was actually thinking about it. Be quick to listen and slow to react. That's a concept, especially men, that we have a hard time doing. Because as soon as, depending on what it is, it goes from 0 to 1,000 real quick. And guess what? You coming with that energy to some of our beautiful sisters. You know, I appreciate our sisters, but you're not always going to empower us. Sister's not going to want to hear that. Soon as you go 1,000, she going to go 5,000, 6,000. She going to match and surpass you. She's not trying to hear nothing that you saying. So this is some of the things that I try to teach them, man. Like, you want these goals, you got to put something in place. What are you doing for your future? What do you want to do? And you got to visualize that. A lot of our athletes and pro bodybuilders, they talk about visualization. Where do you see yourself? We also talk about it in another manifestation. Guess what? What you give off is exactly what you receive every time.
Facts.
Like literally, if you want this, you got to believe it. You got to stick to it. And guess what? If somebody ain't on the same page as you, man, that means that they need to move on. They're not for you.
Facts.
You stay away from them, man, because their negative energy is going to weigh on you. You're going to wonder why, man, why am I so upset? Why am I frustrated? Did you think about who you went around? We all have people that when you go around them, they drain you. That's your body telling you, you know what, man, I'm stay away from you. And I'm gonna go around someone who got some lack energy, and you need that, man. You need to be around accountability. It comes in a lot of forms, man. Me and Jason accountability partners all of the time, and been like that for years. You need that, man, because if you don't, man, you need to have somebody one you trust, you can be vulnerable with to an extent, and you can talk to, and you know they actually care and not going to be negative towards you.
Right. That's something that's real important is making sure that you have people in your corner that actually have a vested interest in your success for whatever reason. It could be a selfish reason that they have a vested interest, but they need to have a vested interest in your success. That's very, 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 very important. So just give us one actionable tip for this week that our viewers can execute to start their journey to making sure that they're not just doing their physical exercise, but their mental exercise. So Dr. Shamika, just one quick tip in 30 seconds that our viewers can take to help them to maintain that mental health like they're maintaining their physical health.
Journaling. That's my biggest pointer is always to journal. If we don't get it out, we'll keep it in and it does us no good. So journaling, I would ask, and implore everyone to journal. It is very healthy for our mental health.
I love it. Jason?
Greetings. Yeah. One of the easiest things you can do is reconnect with the earth. What I mean by that is go outside, get you some vitamin D from the sun, listen to the birds, listen to the earth around you, and let it calm you. Meditate. Go outside and walk. Just start working on yourself mentally and emotionally, and you'll be amazed what ends up happening physically.
I love it. And for me, it's the mirror. It's a mirror relationship. Get in the mirror and have conversations with yourself. Start choosing your words wisely. A student of mine wrote a review when we actually were working on some publications when I was a journalism educated teacher. And they said, Miss Brown has a big vocabulary. We love her vocabulary. I said, well, if you actually go and get one word a day, you can put it in your phone and say, I need a new word every day. Find out a new word, find out what it means, and then start making it applicable to your vocabulary. Then you too will have an extensive vocabulary. And that does help you with your mind because it causes you to have to critically think. When you are applying a new word, a word that is not familiar to you, that does help you with your ability to critically think. And Vincent gave us a great set of information when he was talking about what he's been doing with his students to add value and to support them. So with that being said, we are at the top of the hour. This has been a fantastic show, even with Vincent.
What's Vincent's tip? Vincent didn't give us a tip.
He gave us a tip. He was talking about the kids when we were talking about the tips on how to support the students. But even with Vincent ranting and raving at the top of the hour about Android and Apple devices, we'll have
just won't let it go. I'm trying to leave it alone. I'm trying to be a better person.
So, Vincent, silencio por favor, man. And I know I said it wrong on purpose.
Oh my gosh, we will have to literally revisit that, and we're gonna have to come back with some data because Vincent did put out there. He did put out. Why do you need an Apple phone? We're going to have to use that on the show, y'all. Why do you need an Apple phone if you're not in the entertainment industry? So we have to answer that question, everybody. We got to come back with a viable answer to his question. All right. So until next time, it's been a fantastic show. We appreciate you guys tuning in and tapping in for this week's edition of the P. Koffe Brown Show as we discuss economic empowerment. I hope that something that we said adds value to you and supports your journey to become a better steward of you. Until next time, love on yourself and love somebody else. And remember that you can do all things because Christ does strengthen us. Talk to you guys soon. Grace and peace.
Understood. But you look amazing.
You don't look too bad yourself, birthday boy.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You ready?
Whenever you want.
Great.